Okay, it says it's recording, so there we are.
Okay, cool. Brilliant.
Yeah, so as I was saying, we'll talk about the mission. We have a fresh new mission for you guys this year. We'll talk about the Marcia, the vibration testing, the competition stages, scoring criteria, and then the more details about the funding, contact and support, and how to register. We're here for 1 hour, so hopefully we have enough time for questions in the end. So let us introduce our team then. Well, I'll just go first then. I'm Amir. I'm a third year aerospace engineering student at the University of Bristol. I have been a participant of this competition for 1 year. After that, I was part of the organizing team, and this year I am co-leading the competition with Ollie. So yeah, just have been basically involved with the Rovers for this is the third year now. Um, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Hi, I'm Ollie. Um, yeah, as Arno said, um, yeah, I participated in the competition for 1 year. Was organizing last year, and now I'm co-leading with Amir. Um, as for myself, I'm also third year at the University of Bristol, studying mechanical engineering. Um, right now I'm at placement year. Um, yeah, very excited to see where the competition goes this year. Um, yeah, G, if you want to introduce yourself as well.
Yeah. Hi guys, I am G. I finished my bachelor's in astrophysics and I've just finished my master's in space engineering. Out of everyone here, I am the oldest veteran at ORT. I think I'm going into my third year at third season of ORT, but second year in the ORT team. Um, and yeah, so my uni was is developing the infrared spectrometer replacement for the Rosalind Franklin rovers. So I actually got to work on some image processing software as part of my dissertation, which was really cool stuff. So we've got Jacob and Beth next, who are here, but they're not here. Jacob is kind of like the master Uguay of um, the team, I guess. He's here and he's very wise and he gives a lot of information, but he's very often not here because he's in his big boy job. I think he's just started working at Lodestar Space, um, which is a startup, so he's like given a lot of time to that. But when he's here, he's very resourceful. Uh, Beth is a fourth year aerospace engineering student at the University of Bath. She's one of our new volunteers, so she just joined us this year. But last year she was um, did an industry year at Airbus, and she helped organise things from the side of Airbus. And for 2 years before that, she was actually competing in the trials. So she's got quite a bit of history with ORT itself. Jason?
Y- Yep. Hi, I'm Jason. I'm a final year student studying aerospace at Nottingham. Um, and yeah, last year I also did a placement year at Airbus and I helped out with ORT on the Airbus side for organising the competition. And then this is my first year volunteering for UK SEDS as part of ORT. And last but not least, Alex.
Thanks, Jason. Hi, guys. My name is Alex. I just finished my third year of aerospace engineering in Belfast and currently on placement at Airbus Defence and Space in Stevenage. So joining after Beth and Jason. Just missed them. And this is my first year on either on the competition side or on the organising side of ORT.
Mm. Yeah, so I
That's
guess
yeah.
yeah, just a bit about the competition. If Jason, you'd like to go through.
Yeah, so ORT, it's an annually held competition, and we are very fortunate to have our two sponsors, Airbus and RAL Space, support us through it. So how it effectively works is there'll be two streams. This was same as last year. There'll be the basic stream and the advanced stream. The advanced stream is a bit more complex and meant for teams with who are more confident in their abilities, while the basic stream is more to help encourage new teams with who have, let's say, less heritage within their universities for entering the competition to just get a start. The advanced stream is hosted at Airbus Stevenage in their Mars Yard, while the basic stream is hosted by RAL Space in the Harwell campus. The competition will run over the academic year, so we're hoping to get you all, well, the people who progress past the TRR down around July time to competition day. And we're also hoping to have some workshops and support you guys or guide you in the process. And there'll be several additional prizes to win, as well as just the winning of the competition, which more information will be given out about that later on throughout the slides. Yeah, I think that covers everything on my end. I wasn't doing this slide, was I?
Yeah. I'll go through this.
Yeah.
So the mission background. As we all know, there's a new space race focused on the commercialization of low Earth orbit access. And NASA and ESA are leading the way with Artemis missions aiming to return humans to the moon and prepare for Mars missions. And the challenge that we are focusing here is on the characterizing the geology of Mars, which is a key scientific interest right now. In-depth understanding of the Martian environment is essential for establishing future settlements, as we see about SpaceX, Elon Musk talking about getting to Mars. There are many challenges that come with ambitions like that. Can you please put the next slide? Thank you. So the mission, it's Terra. We're calling it the Terra mission, which is terrain exploration and remote reconnaissance for analysis. Terra will operate on the Martian surface, specifically within a geologically significant crater. And the objectives of the rover is first, exploring and surveying the surrounding terrain. And the second objective is capturing images of geological features of interest to send back to Earth. The rover must operate remotely. There is, so as Jason was talking about, we have a dual stream system again this year with basic and advanced stream. The mission brief for both the streams is the same this year. However, with the advanced stream, the differentiating factor is that you will be competing against teams of similar experiences. And furthermore, in the mission itself, there'll be areas to get bonus points for the advanced stream with more complex sort of challenges. I'll allow Ollie now to get more in detail about the competition.
Yep. Good, move on to the next slide. Yeah, so as Amir was saying, there's two major sort of focuses for the mission this year. One is just the exploration of the terrain in the yard. So in the advanced stream, that's the Mars yard, and then at RAL Space, that's their yard. Yeah, so there's like an exploration aspect as well as the main mission, which is capturing these images of geological features around the site. So what this means in practicality. So on the competition day, there'll be these points of interest around the yard, so rocks really. And these rocks will have QR codes placed around them. And these will be the points of interest. So the task for teams is in their test run, they're going to the task will be to move around the yard, finding these points of interest and taking images of these QR codes. And the sort of idea is that these QR codes are representing sort of geological features on rocks. So, for example, maybe there's like a mineral observable or some sort of element that's exposed on the surface. Because that's a whole other can of worms, spectroscopy and identification of elements. So we've simplified that for the competition. So it's just taking an image of a QR code to identify the composition of a rock. So, for example, if you find a point of interest and you can scan a QR code, so this QR code will provide teams with information about the composition of the rock. So, for example, when you scan it, you might get some text saying this rock contains X amount of iron, for example. And then, yeah, once teams have scanned that information, the way teams will score points is based on the information they provide as well as the image that they've taken. And if we can go to the next slide to, I think there's some information about scoring. Yeah, so all of that. Yeah, so there's points to talk about the points available this year. So that main mission, that's all within the Mars Yard run. So in total, for the Mars Yard run, there's 2,000 points available, and those points are gained by going up to points of interest, taking images, and providing that information from the QR codes that people have that teams have scanned, and that's 2,000 points. And then, as usual, as well, we have the vibration test, which provides you can get a maximum of 1,000 points. But the major difference this year is that there's a bunch of other points available based on prizes, which you will talk about in a second, and then also bonus image points. These bonus image points are separate from the points scored from taking images of the points of interest. So I should just preface all of this by saying all of this information is provided in detail in the rules and requirements. So you don't need to remember everything I'm saying, or if something is unclear, you can check the rules and requirements. It'll be a lot clearer there. But to give a brief overview, bonus image points are available for example, if you can provide extra information based on the images you've taken about the points of interest. So, for example, the number of QR codes on a rock, or something similar pieces of information like that, and that's separate from the actual test run itself. But again, yeah, all of this is made a lot clearer in the rules and requirements. But yeah, G, if you want to talk about prizes.
Just 1 second, I'll just add something there. The QR codes, I'm sure you must have mentioned this, but I'm just pre-emphasizing that the QR codes in each rock will be of different sizes. So that's what you're being tested on. If you can scan the smallest sized QR code, that will gain you the maximum amount of points. And yeah, I just wanted to point that out again.
Cool.
We can go into prizes.
So moving on to the prizes, as always, there are 5 prizes to be won. So you can win it for a number of reasons. So you can win the public engagement prize, which was previously known as the outreach prize. We've renamed it because it sounded a little bit better. There's an automation prize up for grabs. There's a best CDR up for grabs, an innovation prize, and finally the best overall rover prize. So you don't have to have the best overall rover to win a prize, essentially. The only thing that we've done differently this year is in previous years, the best rover prize went to the rover that participated the best during the competition day. So if your rover could move around and do the tasks successfully, you'd win the prize. But this year we've decided that there's a lot of other factors that should contribute to the best overall rover. So we've allocated points per section. You can see it in the table on the right hand side. So they aren't as heavily weighted as the actual competition day event, but we wanted to kind of essentially penalize the people that didn't give the other sections a go and reward the people that did. So that's why we've done like this, and hopefully it's going to give a little bit more engagement in terms of some of the other prizes that are available out there. So we thought it'd be quite good to put in some pictures of the Mars yard and the vibrational testing scenarios, so that you guys kind of know what you're looking towards. So if you're part of the advanced stream, you will be operating on the Mars yard at Airbus, which is on the left hand side. And on the right hand side, it's not as much of a Mars yard, but it's still quite a similar terrain that we've simulated there. Um, but yeah, these are just some pictures from the competition that's just happened that we took. And for your vibrational testing as well, got the vibrational testing plate at Airbus on the left hand side, got a rover mounted on it, and then it's just the same battle rail space on the right hand side there. I think Jason wanted to say something about the mounting itself.
Yeah, so last year there was a bit of confusion about the mountain, at least on the Airbus side, people thinking that you put a nut under the mounting plate and then you screw a screw through it. But it's just while the picture was here, I just thought it was probably worth mentioning that the holes on the mounting plate are threaded, so you screw just into the mounting plate. And I believe it might be similar for RAL space. But yeah, there will be more. It will be made clear in the documents as well. But I just wanted to highlight that um, early so that people are aware when they do their designs.
Okay, so yeah, these are our key deadlines. This is how you'll be assessed throughout the competition. These, as Josh mentioned in his talk earlier on, we're trying to mimic industry here. And if you have been in and around industry at all, you'll notice that these are sort of three reviews that come up quite a lot. You might be familiar with them, but I'll go through them anyway. You've got your PDR, preliminary design review, your CDR, critical design review, and your test readiness review, which is TOR. The dates on the right here, don't worry too much about trying to memorize all those right now. They will be in the requirements documentation, so you can just look it up after the meeting if you want to. But just to note, the PDR has been brought forward slightly this year, I believe, which will allow you more time to work on your CDR naturally because you get feedback from that sooner. As is the case with PDRs in general, don't worry too much about having everything perfect and finalized for PDRs. That's not really the point of them. They're usually something for us to give you feedback on the general direction you're going in. You don't have to have everything defined and perfected by then. So just it might be in your best interest to not spend as much time on the PDR and focus on the CDR after you have the feedback from that, because feedback is king for these reviews. As well as that, the competition's day is slated to be in July. Dates to be confirmed, but we will send those out to you once we have them. Next slide, I believe, is funding as well, which is something people are also usually quite interested in. This is also broken down in the documentation, so don't worry too much about memorizing everything, but essentially UK SEDS can match up to £250 of funding for teams who pass their CDR. You can see a breakdown of how that might work here on the left. So say, for example, you get your university department that contributes £100. You can get another 150 from your students' union. That means you've contributed 250, and then UK SEDS will match the 250. So you have a total of £500 of budget, essentially. You can also get another £250 from our gender diversity grant. Again, once you've passed CDR, if you have more than 50% of women or non-binary members throughout your entire project, this is representative of the whole project, and on the competition day as well, you're eligible to receive another £250.
So in terms of contact and support, what can we do for you? Each team will be allocated a point of contact. Feel free to contact them at any time. And when I say any time, I'm being quite general. Please do not contact us at ungodly hours, because we have received that before. But if it's urgent, then I guess go for it. You can also contact us at our general email, so rovers@uksets.org. There's talks of Airbus also providing some online workshops that I think everyone that's participating can access to help your rover manufacturing processes. And there should be an FAQ section on our website. If there's not, there will be pretty soon. So if you want to, the QR code basically takes you to the website. So that's all the different ways you can contact us. And hopefully we can support you as best as we can.
Just a quick, I'll just mention something again. For people who have been in this call right now, been part of this competition before, they would know that there's always been a robotic arm that has been part of the competition. And this year, we've sort of decided to try and, as much as we can, eliminate the need of a robotic arm. So what we are trying to do here is we want the teams to focus on being able to move on the terrain, which proves very difficult every year and year on the competition days. So our main focus is when we say that we have tried our best to eliminate the need of a robotic arm, is for you guys to focus on your other systems, which is basically being able to move on the terrain. Because at the end of the day, you could have I've seen teams have like the most amazing design, amazing robotic arm, or like amazing way to do the mission, but they fail to move on the terrain. If you fail to move on the terrain, you can't do anything. So there's a big focus this year for teams to put in time in making sure that their electronics, their systems, their communications, and their general chassis, their wheel design, and everything is up to the best standard, and they are going to move on the terrain on the competition day. So yeah, for the registration information, max 10 people per team. This is a very solid limit. You can't have more than 10 people on your team, and uh, you could be disqualified if it's found that you had more than 10 people on your team. Once you have formed your teams, you can go to these QR codes or the links. The links will be there on the website, the UKSET's website. If you go to the UKSET's website, you go to competitions, there'll be a big red button you'll be able to see there for joining the competition that you like. And there you can sort of register your team there. I understand many of the people won't have teams right now. So you have, I think the deadline is until like the 29th. You can confirm that on the website. So yeah, like I know many universities, they'll be soon sort of dividing people into teams. So once that's done, you can go on the website, you can register your team. Yeah. Thank you so much. I hope we made it clear as to what we are planning to do this year with you guys. I hope it sounds fun and that you're looking forward to it. Any questions?
Feel free to unmute yourself or put a message in the chat,
Put it in the chat,
whichever.
anything.
Hi guys. One question about the team sizes. So, say you've got 10 people initially, and then a couple of people end up leaving. Is it possible to replace those, or are they being quite strict about that?
I'll take that question. Yes, it is possible to replace them, but it is important that you make that very clear. So when you submit your documents, for example, your PDR, let's say you had 10 people in your PDR, you will write your team structure, you'll write the 10 names on your PDR. Let's say in between the PDR and the CDR, 2 people from your team left, right? And then you replace them by other 2 people. This change needs to be made very clear when you submit your CDR, where you will remove the names of people who have left the team and add the 2 new names. As long as you're making it clear to us and communicating this information to us that, hey guys, 2 people have left, we've added 2 new people. As long as you do that, that's completely fine. Yes, you can replace your team members.
Okay, so it's the sort of thing you should probably make known to your point of contact potentially.
Yes.
All right, yeah, sounds good. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Yeah, I have a question. So I remember before they were saying on the requirements document that there's something that you absolutely need to meet, like on the slide before the breakout room.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this is applicable, but I was wondering like what happens if we can't meet that?
So it depends on the specific requirement. So I guess so in reference to what Josh said. So if this was an industry and you failed one of these requirements, then your product, the rover would just not meet mission requirements. But obviously and then so if it didn't meet all the requirements, it's just not fit for mission. But obviously in this competition, that's a bit harsh. If you just miss like maybe one requirement and you're just not allowed to compete, that'd be very very harsh. So in like real terms, in terms of the competition, so say your rover failed the requirement to be the maximum mass of 5 kilograms. So say your rover was just over 5 kilograms. Um, in a case like that, um, point teams would like receive like a point penalty to reflect that you've not met that requirement, but you'd still be allowed to compete. So that'd be some certain requirements, but other requirements, in particular the safety requirements. So, for example, teams must have a kill switch on their rover. If teams can't do a critical requirement such as that, then you will not be able to compete on the day, because of safety concerns from the rover not being able to be safely turned off. To like make the distinction between those clear, right before the competition day, there's a stage called the TRR, where you have to demonstrate key critical functions of your rover. Those are the requirements that you cannot go without. But I suppose in general, the other requirements, like you should aim to meet every requirement. But those other requirements aren't critical for the competition, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah. So there's like certain priorities, and like obviously the ones that are critical, you have to like obviously you have to get those ones, but then in the other ones, try to get the most as possible. If you can't, the most that will happen, you just get penalized by points.
I mean, I should say like there will be a big points penalty. You shouldn't. It should. All of them are technically a must. Like you shouldn't
Yeah.
aim to be. Um, it's a distinction between. Um, so for example, with the mass one, you really should be below 5 kilograms. It's only in cases where like maybe you're like slightly over, like you just miscalculated something slightly on the day. It's not like if we were being really harsh, we'd say, okay, you can't compete. But it's just that we recognize that things can happen. Teams have put a lot of effort into these. So if it's not a safety critical requirement, then we'll still let you compete. It's just we will give you a large points penalty if you don't meet a requirement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So
Thank you.
the point being that you can compete, but the point penalties would be major. They wouldn't be small point penalties, especially for something like your rover being above the mass limit. The point penalties would be major, but will be decided based on the situation on the competition day.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Feel free to ask any questions, guys.
For the £250 funding, when would that be paid? Is that paid at the end of the competition, or like could we? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so the way the funding situation works at UK SEDS is that after the competition day, so after you've already bought all of your components, so you'd provide UK SEDS with a receipt of all of the components you bought, where it's used in the rover, how much they cost, just all of that information, providing it to us. And then we would be able to reimburse based on that. So
Okay.
yeah, it's just I think it's some charity bylaws that we're not allowed to provide money in advance.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I just
It
want
has to be a
to
reimbursement.
check so we factor it into our budgeting. Yeah.
Just make sure to keep the receipts, because if you don't have proof of purchase, then we can't reimburse you.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Cool. Any questions about the mission? I feel like I probably skipped over a lot of details. I sort of blitzed through the mission objectives.
I think we should. Oh
I have a quick question. Sorry.
no, you go for it.
Mhm.
Yeah. So are you meant to do anything else with the QR codes, or just take a photo of them?
Yeah, so to make that clear, so I guess so if I line up the steps, like the sort of like recommended steps for teams to go about scoring points. So first step, navigating to these points of interest, um, where there'll be a set of QR codes surrounding the rock of different sizes. Um, and then teams should try and take as many pictures as possible of each QR code. I'm not sure if I made this clear, but so because the QR codes are different sizes, um, so obviously the smaller ones will be more difficult to scan, based on how far away you are from the rover and the quality of your camera. So um, the smaller the QR code that you can scan, and then provide that information to the judges, the more points you'll earn. Yeah, so sort of the envisioned process is that teams try and scan as many QR codes as they can, and then provide the information from that smallest QR code. But yeah, in terms of like what you actually submit to judges, so we'd want to see the image you've taken of these QR codes. So it doesn't have to be, so it wouldn't be every single image you've taken. So teams would just select one picture to submit. And on top of that, we'd want the information from that QR code that you've scanned. There's a bit about we don't want to penalize teams that don't have the functionality to scan. So you don't have to provide that information along with the QR code image, but yeah, this is detailed more in the rules and requirements.
Yeah, just to add that, so Ollie, just reading what Ollie said, that it's not a requirement to have a software that does the scanning for you. You can use your phones. So after you've taken an image, based on, I mean, the quality of the image, if the quality of the image is good, your phone will be able to scan the QR code. So the point will be that you'll scan all these QR codes, and then the smallest QR code that you're able to scan and get information out of, that will be the image you will give to us with the information you extracted. So for example, in the advanced stream, there will be unscannable QR codes as well. So it is sort of advised that you can work on your software, which sort of streamlines the process for you and you don't have to use your phone. But that's not a mission requirement. You are allowed to have that image, use your phone scanner to scan the QR code. If the image is good, you'll get the information, the QR code will be scannable, and then you give that to us. You only submit one image per site to us, which will be, let's say, the smallest QR code you're able to scan, giving you the maximum number of points.
That's great. Thank you very much.
When will the documentation all be made available on the website? Is that going to be fairly soon, or
It's available now.
okay?
Yeah.
And how small is the smallest QR code roughly going to be in like centimeters? Just
I think that is something we will make more clear later. The exact, so it's not going to be yeah, the exact sizes of the QR codes, we'll make that more clear later.
okay, thank you.
Yep. Any final questions?
I mean, how many of you guys are sort of participating again in the competition? You can raise your hand. Do we have all new participants? Oh, there's one. Right. Okay.
I'm not sure how to raise hands on Zoom, so yeah.
Okay. That's okay.
It's in the React section on the bottom bar, I think.
Right.
Yes.
So as you guys will notice, there'll be quite a few different things. So Yeah, I hope we made the mission requirements and the mission clear.
Oh, I do also want to point out, even though the mission is the same for the basic and advanced stream, there are some key differences. So do make sure you're reading the correct set of documents for the stream that you're entering, because they are like while they are mostly very similar, there are some few bits and bobs that do differ between the two.
Yeah. Yeah, please make sure you're reading the right document, because especially the whole vibration specification would be completely different for Airbus, which is the advanced stream, and RAL Space, which is the basic stream. And the whole system of bonus points only exists in the advanced stream.
I know it sounds quite simple, but last year we had a few teams designing the wrong rover, and we didn't pick up until the CDR stage because they didn't realize they were reading the wrong documents. And last year they were two different briefs, so some of the teams were designing drills when it was supposed to be like a claw mechanism. So definitely worth double checking.
Yeah. It was saying big and balls, basic or advanced. Sorry, I got you out there.
No, it's okay. Quick question: is there any need to be able to like move the rocks themselves, or is it literally just scanning?
Literally just scanning. You're not expected to be able to move the rocks. The images, the QR codes will be in sort of somewhat direct line of sight. Like you don't have to, they wouldn't be obscured behind features. You might have to move around to get to them, go around the sand, go around the rocks to get to them, but you're not expected. No, you would not be moving rocks to see them. They would not be behind anything.
Okay.
They'll be in front of you. Yes, and all you have to do is scan them.
For people that participated last year, a change that we've got this year is you won't have line of sight
Yes.
to the Mars yard if you're participating at Airbus. At RAL Space, we never had line of sight, so that'll just continue. But yeah.
So you would need the appropriate cameras to be able to move around. You would not be able to see your rover during when the competition is running.
Which you have been able to last, well,
Yeah.
in previous years, so
Yeah.
be sure to account for that.
Yeah. Any more questions? Hello, Josh.
Hello. Have you guys all finished up then, is it?
Yeah, almost there. I mean, we just answered some questions, and with the silence right now, seems like we don't have any more questions.
I've just got one more question actually. It's
Oh, hello, Matthew.
specific, but so we're going to be entering a new team this year, but we have got some robotics experience with other competitions amongst the team. Airbus competition's a lot easier for us to get to in terms of like getting to the venue. Would it be possible for us to do the advanced stream, or should we just try and do the basic?
Hmm.
You can do the advanced one if you want, as long as you're aware that you're going to be competing against teams that have had experience.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'll have a look at the rules in detail, but it's just like I'm from University of Essex, so getting to Airbus is very easy, whereas RAL Space would be quite hard and involve overnight stays and stuff, so which might make it just not possible.
Yeah, I think we're a little bit more, I don't know what the word is. We're a little bit more stubborn as to who enters the basic stream, but if you want to enter the advanced stream, be our guest, honestly.
Yeah, I think just highlighting that we had, I mean, we don't want kind of, because you can be a young professional technically and participating in this competition. We don't want to have a young professional team coming into the basic stream basically and wiping the floor with everybody because they've got access to all the vacuum chambers and they come along with a actual life-sized rover, basically. Just wanted to say, if people don't have any questions at the moment, you're more than welcome to leave and join another breakout room because some of the other event presentations are still going on. So if you have other questions and you want to see other competitions, you're more than welcome to join in the other groups as well.
Is there anything going on after this?
Um,
Is that once all the breakout rooms are done, is there going to be a recombining for like send off, or is that just done?
So we'll have a little bit of a regroup. So it'll be about another 20 minutes or so, I think. We've got a quick presentation from IOSM, the in-orbit servicing people, to just sort of announce the rebranding and refreshing of the competition. And then we'll be introducing a little bit about we've alluded to it, but we'll be introducing some of the support things that will be available in future and support facilities. So for example, we're creating a UK Set Academy, which is a bunch of free learning courses. There's already a couple up there, Rocketry 101. There is a PCB design one, which is scheduled to go up as well. There's a systems engineering one that's currently in the works as well. And so we're going to try and give free resources for you guys to be able to use and reference to when you're doing any of the competition's work.
Thank you.
Like a very simplified and streamlined and maybe not as good Udemy, but it's free. So that's why. If anybody knows what Udemy is. Well, YouTube's free, and it probably gives you just as much information as well. Cool. So yeah, I'm going to jump away, check on some of the other groups as well, and make sure that they're all happy. If you guys want, and you guys have all wrapped up, if you have any questions, feel free, of course, to ask the fantastic team here. But you're also more than welcome to leave this breakout room and join another breakout room if you want to hear some of the last sort of 10 minutes of any of the other presentations. Cool. All right, guys. See you in a bit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop recording now, so
Yeah.
if you've got any good questions,